championship coaches or the coaches is in the top. All of them are 55, 60, 65, going on 70. They've been around, Coach. They've been around. And we turn it over in the SWAC. That you just was talking earlier about how many coaches they don't ran through.
What I was trying to move to is that those PWIs though relinquish the profile of the school to the head football coach. They do that as a means to continue to fundraise, build facilities, do all those things to make their colleges better. They defer to Saban as the face of the university, right? For whatever reason, right? I don't see where HBCU organizations embrace that as this coach being the face of their program, the way that PWIs have, my entire life for the most part.
Coach, let me respond to that, and I know you got something on this. Well, see, Rocky, here's the thing. Like I say, I'm a big college football fan, and Coach is going to understand this. Alabama wasn't always like that because they had Stallings, they had Shula, they had the other guy that went to the Orange Bowl.
Perkins.
They had Perkins. Ray Perkins. They had the guy that
they fired Ray Perkins on the 10 in 1 year.
Yeah, Franchoni. So you got to understand, I just named 5 coaches just right then and there. So it's not always like that because, again, what happens is you get see, first of all, programs like Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, USC, first of all, they have the infrastructure to always be great. See, that's what we're talking about. They have a set infrastructure that all you need to do is find the right coach, and then it keeps rolling. Alabama's always had the infrastructure to be great. Ohio State, Michigan, LSU. Even that's why people in Florida are like, oh, wait a minute. This is not because we have the infrastructure to be great. Clemson. So when you start talking about these legacy programs, that's what happens. Now, with the HBCUs, when you start talking about our blue blood programs, the Jackson States, the Florida A&Ms, the Grambling, the Southerns, it was the force of will by the men that led those programs, not the infrastructure.
Right.
Because Eddie Robinson created the infrastructure. W.C. Gordon created the infrastructure. Marino Castle created the infrastructure. Jake Gaither created the infrastructure. Rudy Hubbard created the infrastructure. So that was the difference because the infrastructure was always weak and never, ever put together correctly because we always had to do patchwork, right? Coach knows this. As great as Texas Southern was, it was Coach Cole that had to put the infrastructure together. He had to, teach class. He had to line the field. That doesn't happen at schools that have the infrastructure. So it's the man, the person, that does that. Right. And the difference. So that's the difference.
When you get that person, you got to make sure that you cultivate him with the university. You don't push him out the door because he's different. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we have done, and that's what we're getting to. You know what I mean? It ain't that. I always tell you, Rocky, it's only about 25% of coaches that are winners. That's other 75, they're going to fly through the night, coach. It's just like that. Everybody is just not a winner. But when you get one, you need to hold on to them and give them what they want. Simmons is a guy. You know what I mean? Don't play with him. Simmons is a guy but like you said earlier, his goal is to be able to get a job at a Division I major school. And he ain't going to get it, like you said earlier, at Florida A&M. He could win 5 national championships, 10. He ain't going to get one. He going to have to take the same route, assistant job somewhere.
So how can you guys who are deeply entrenched in HBCU culture, right, have the understanding that his goals are to be a Power 5 coach, and in order to do that, he has to take a different path at this point in his life? Why are some of the HBCU loyalists consider this a move of a sellout or him going to Duke because Whitey's ice is colder? Or how can a running back position be a running back coach be an upgrade from a head coaching job at an HBCU, you know, how does all of those ideas come about when you guys are loyalists and, you know, and you guys, you know, clearly don't have that same opinion?
I'm gonna let the bishop answer that because that's a people's thing.
Here's the thing. So, okay, so here's where the heart leads before the head, right? So you see, we know how great Coach Simmons is. Coach Cole knows how great he is, right? So, and I'm talking face value at first, okay? Because Coach Cole knows the deepness and the thing about it. But if you tell me I have a great coach and the best you can offer him is the running backs coach position, and then we talking face value, and then you go do what I do and go look and see who the OC is, and you know my guy has a better resume than this guy who has never even been an OC, okay? So then I get upset to say, you know what, treat my guy fairly. Treat my guy fairly. If you're not going to treat my guy fairly, let us keep my guy. Because if you're not going to give my guy, and this is where the emotion comes in at, right? Because I can look at this guy, and I wanted to see who was the guy that Manny Diaz thought that was a better guy than Coach Simmons. Okay, Rocky, do you understand this guy that's going to be the OC at Duke was a quality control system in just 2021?
Yeah.
Okay? A quality control system. If you go look at his resume, he wasn't even a real OC at Southern Methodist. Okay? The white man gave him a title just so it could look good on a resume because he was the co-OC. He wasn't even calling the plays. So you're going to tell me as a black, now this is where the black man part comes in at. You're going to tell me that my guy who has won championships, my guy who has now done 2 programs and turned them around, and from a head coaching position, can't be your OC? That's what we get upset about. But what does Coach Cole understand this? But see, now this part with being black, and the black tax happens. The only way, unfortunately, Willie's got to go to get to that route, he got to take the lowest step on the rung. While the white boy from Southern Methodist is already on rung 3, and the ladder's already put up for him. Because if I did a blind taste test and I showed you both of their resumes, right? And this is not me. If you looked at both of their resumes, it's not even close who would be the better coach.
No, I mean, you know, there's no, and again, I would say this is Manny Diaz hedging his bets. You know, if I just look at it on face value, if I look at a guy who was your quality control coach when you were at Miami, where you got fired from, right? And then he went to SMU to be co-OC, right? And then you bring him back to Duke with you as the OC, and then you hire a guy who is a offensive wizard as the running back coach. You hedging your bets.
Well, you know, see, and I'm gonna say this because again, these shows go all over. I'm going to make the disclaimer. This is Steve Campbell talking. Coach Simmons did what's best for his family. Okay, so I want to be clear on that. I support what Coach Simmons because I'm not Coach Simmons. I'm not his wife nor his kids. So my opinion means nothing. I want to really say that really clearly. But my thing is what makes me upset is that I have seen this constantly where a coach that has the qualification that Coach Simmons has gets passed over for this job that he should have gotten. That bothers me. That is the thing that we say. So then let's go to the part where the FAMU people say, well, and again, just looking at it on face value. Well, hell, they coach, if you're only going to be a running backs coach and they're going to pay you $500,000, well, hell, that's light work for us. We'll bring it $200,000 in 2 hours, which is basically what we basically did. To say if it's the money, we'll make sure the money is right. Because that's usually what happens. Well, you know, they don't pay me enough and whatever. Well, that was never a case. So that was great what we did. Because I think what FAMU wanted to show was, you know what? If we got somebody that is worth the money, we have the money to pay them. Because that's what this is going to start coming down to.
But Bishop, let me say this to you. Why does it take to pay a winning? Simmons been great when he came in. True?
Absolutely.
Then why wait? At HBCUs is the only place where the head coach don't make more than the president. You knew what you were getting when you got him. He was a championship coach then. So why does it pay? And here's the other thing. You know, let's talk about facts. 95% of athletic directors in the United States are white. At those big schools, the alumni that give big money are white. They're not ready today, especially with Trump making a push to the presidency of bringing a black man to run our program. They're not doing it. So the only way that we can get there, it's like the Underground Railroad. You know, man, I got to take me a little running back job. Then I'm going to make it to the wide receiver. Because, you know, the running back job is one of the lowest paying coaches on the staff. I didn't want to give our crowd that information. They'd be like, no, you never should have went.
No.
But
so
you got to get in there somehow.
So this is what I will say in that situation, right? Running backs coach may be the lowest hire, but the $500,000 salary for the running back coach is among top Power 5 offensive, especially in the ACC. I'll just put it like that, in the ACC. Maybe not in SEC, but the ACC. But here's the and I want to bring this out because I know we're going all over the place, but this guy has literally been an offensive analyst for 9 years. And I don't know if he called plays this past year, but he was a co-offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. So you mean, see, this is why Manny Diaz is not a good coach, right? Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation because he's hiring a guy that was, coach. If you were a offensive analyst for 9 years, where is your career going, coach?
Whew, that's a long time. But it's all about the break, man. It's all about the break. Those guys talk about jobs all the time, man. They pass each other's jobs all the time. It's just us, the one, you know, we got that little window. And that's one reason why, Bishop, I started this show, was to promote black coaches, to get us out there, to say that we can coach the game. That's why I started. And for us to start helping us. And that's why, Rocky, I'll be like, these SWAC jobs are the only jobs that we have for HBCU guy to come to get going. And if we start taking them away and hiring all the PWI assisted black guys, where that leave us? We really out the door. Because Simmons went to what, Clemson?
Yep, he went to Clemson.
He went to Clemson. So he came down here, took 2 spots. As great as a coach he is, how does that help HBCU guys?
Well, I asked, you know, let's put everything in perspective. And I asked this to Coach Campbell last night while we were having a conversation about me asking him to come on the show with us today. And I said, how? Because I did my research on Willie Simmons. Willie Simmons was a offensive coordinator at 29, 30 years old at a PWI, what we consider at Middle Tennessee State. How did he end up being a SWAC head coach? Because I wanted to know because he was already there. He was already there. And, you know, black guys don't get those kind of jobs at 28, 29 years old. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they obviously identified him as a brilliant mind, a brilliant coach. And I was like, how did he get to Alcorn and then later on to Prairie View?
Unfortunately, he had a personal issue at Middle Tennessee State, and that's how he got to Alcorn State. It was an off-field personal thing where he got into some trouble, and they were able to clean it up, and he was able to move from there to Alcorn State. I know the allegation, but it ain't important now, you know. And like I said, this show is about uplifting. It ain't about beating somebody down. So that's how he got
but that was a hell of a ascension in coaching to be an offensive coordinator at 28, 29 years old. You got to agree with me there, right, Coach Campbell?
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I met Willie when he was at Clemson. He was probably a sophomore. And Willie was a leader of seniors, okay? And he wasn't even a starting quarterback. And he was one of the leaders on that team. Willie has always been a leader, man. Always. Willie has the persona. And you know what's great about where he leads? He leads with respect. He leads with friendship. He's the type of person that, you know what? If Willie Simmons is my friend, he's going to have my back. If Willie Simmons tells me something, I know he's not going to lie to me. This has been like this since, and I'm saying this because he's a grown man, but I'm saying as a reference point, since he's been a kid. Okay? I met him when he was 19. He's 43 now. And everything I saw at 19 is perfect at 43. So when you see that and you see how he handles his players, how he handled Musa, how he said, hey, listen, don't listen to that outside noise. I'm your coach. This is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to win. We were all chattering and all that. And coach was the coach. He knew what he was doing. So that's the thing about it. So some people have that it. Coach Simmons has that it.
Ain't no question.
And Coach, you know, one thing I can say, it's the little things for me, Coach, is you had the pleasure of giving me a tour of the FAMU Fieldhouse and their facilities, and we were told immediately Coach Simmons wasn't available. He's in meetings. We proceeded to go through the tour, and before we leave, we know he's busy preparing the SWAC championship is the next day. What does he do? He comes down the hall while he was going to his office to shake our hands and introduces himself. That's to me because he could have just went straight to his office, right? But he didn't do that. He came up the hallway, shook our hands, and gave us the opportunity to introduce ourselves. And for me, with all the swagger and bravado that he has, which is truly, he has the equality, but to be a courteous, kind human being, that means everything to me.
Always has been like that. And that's why I think people, so this goes back to the point about how you leave because you can always come back. When he did his press conference on HBCU Game Day, it was class personified. It was nothing that after you watched that, even if you were upset, you couldn't be upset anymore because he did it class personified. He was gracious. He was humble. He appreciated the fan base. He said, hey, listen, thank you guys for supporting me. And we've done what we need to do. And now I've left this in a better position. So to Coach's point, but I want to get something that Coach was trying to allude to. But see, this goes back where people are upset about the infrastructure and about why did we wait? Because this is when the infrastructure is not right. When you've got somebody like Coach Simmons, right? And if the infrastructure is in place, instead of us 24 hours having to try to scramble to raise money, see, the infrastructure at Texas A&M and Alabama, the money structure is already there. So if Nick Saban is rumbling, like when Nick Saban did that little fake rumble that he was coming to Texas, the infrastructure was already there. So he wouldn't even have to get up. Now, Texas got the money. And they were like, Nick, you come on. Even the slight rumble. How many times has Lane Kiffin, with the little rumble he's done, he's gotten 3 raises off them white folks, off them Klansmen up there. 3. Because the infrastructure is there to say, okay, if this is what you're going to do, tell me what you're going to do. So now listen what happened with FAMU. The money was there, but the infrastructure wasn't there. Because what happens if, and again, I'm not going to get into what was reported. Let's just go to Coach Cole's point. He already had a 9-2 season. Everybody's kind of say South Carolina already talked to him, right? Where was the infrastructure where the AD said, hey, guys, alumni, we need to have $200,000 ready for Coach Simmons? Because if he wins the championship,
not ready. This is what we need to give him.
Right.
Because we know some people going to come after him.
Yeah, they're going to come after him.
Be proactive.
There you go. But that's part of when infrastructure is put in place. Because if the infrastructure is put in place, the money's already there, the contract's already ready. You lay it out.
But Bishop, that's my problem with us. You know, we'll ride that damn horse, man, and he running like a damn gallop. And the day he gimp on his damn ankle, I'm ready to throw his butt back to the stable. And that's why I was telling you, Rocky, yeah, right now he's 12-1. He's rolling. As soon as they have a bad season, man, maybe he don't ran his time out. Then be the same way, be the same proactive way when he go 12-1. But like you say, Bishop, the infrastructure ain't there. You know what I think, Bishop? I think that we just don't know how to run programs. Now, because we're tied up into a personal thing. Oh, well, well, it's me, and I don't want to. No, that guy might think he's something. I just think that's. I don't want to say us culturally because I know it happens in PWIs. Is it that you got to have those right people in place, those special people, like you say, Coach, that understands the structure. That as long as Willie Simmons winning, Florida A&M winning, I'm getting raises, enrollment going up, media coming out, ticket sales. Everybody got their Florida A&M shirt on from 1936. They don't know the magnitude. I mean, when I won at Texas Southern, Bishop, can you imagine we ain't had a winning season in 45 years at that time? You had guys back in the 60s digging through they and getting their shirts on, putting their shirts on. But the people in place didn't understand the magnitude. We were moving into a new stadium, Bishop. We were moving to a new stadium. We coming off a championship. Can you imagine? And you get rid of your winning coach? Who does that?
Yeah.
Who attacks? At Alabama State, Bishop, LC came there from Tennessee State after we won 2 back-to-back championships. Get to Tennessee State, we win the first East Division championship. Next year, we won the East Division championship. Do you know what they done? They went and hired a private investigator to investigate my winning coach so we can get enough on him to get rid of him. Who does that? But what you were saying, who does that, man?
Well, here's the thing. I was telling somebody this today that I mentor. There's a reason why, when you look at jobs and they say experience necessary, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. Look at all our ADs. How many of our ADs actually have assistant AD experience? Probably one. And I try to do this research. So you look, there's a reason why Ashley Robinson does what he does compared to the other. He had experience. So if I tell you, okay, and I'm going to use my AD, what experience does she have negotiating coaches' contracts? What experience does she have to put together a short list of coaches? And I'm talking about where you're in the room, where you're an assistant AD, right? Or you're the third, you're in there, but you have that title and you're sitting under somebody and they say, I'm going to teach you because this is what's going to happen when you become an AD. Right. When you go look at these people's background, they don't even have the assistant AD before they become the AD. So if you don't,
from compliance officers to ADs.
There you go. So if you have never sat in the second or third chair, right, to learn. So when you go look at all these ADs at Georgia, Alabama, you go look at where they come from and go look at their resume. It is a building block where they've been in that second chair, where they understand coaching, hiring, compliance, fundraising. And then you know what the AD does? Okay, I'm going to give you this assignment. So you handle it, come back so you can show me. So then when he goes and gets the job at Alabama, he can say, well, I did this. I raised $100 million. And even though he really didn't, he raised 25 million of it, but he knows the mechanics of it. And this goes back about the infrastructure. So again, if I have an AD, so again, my opinion, if we know that Coach Simmons is hot as fish grease, right? Then you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Okay, Coach, I want to offer you a contract. Coach, I don't know if I'm going to take it. Well, I already got a short list already ready. So when Coach made that announcement at HBCU game day, you know where he would have been at? Over in my office. And the next announcement is Coach Simmons handing Coach Campbell the keys to the Ferrari.
That's right.
Because I've already talked to Coach Campbell the last 2 weeks. And I'm telling Coach Campbell through his agent, hey, is Coach Campbell interested? Well, what you talking about? Just in case. What do you think? This is how this works. So I got Coach Campbell's agent, I got Coach Miller's agent, I got Coach Cole's agent, and I'm already having a coach. If Florida A&M comes up, what would happen, Coach Cole? And this is your agent. Well, Coach Cole would be interested. Now, you could be coaching in somewhere else, Coach. You could be at Lane College. But now I already have everything ready. See, this is the infrastructure. So this is where the frustration comes in at. Because what happens is now we look flat-footed, right? And we got money sitting in an account now. Can we do with this money? What can we do with it and everything? And we still don't have a coach.
Right.
And instead of having Coach Simmons working with you saying, you know what? I'm transitioning. I'm leaving because Coach Simmons loves family. You don't think Coach Simmons not going to help with the transition?
Right. Right.
So these are some
calls.
Hey, yeah, we got plenty of calls. But yeah, I'm just I'm just so proud of FAMU people because I really didn't like what happened with the whole Jackson State transition. You know what I mean? And you can blame it on Dion, you can blame it on whoever, but I just think the way it was done on both sides showed a lack of class, right? And so, and for that speaking, I'm just glad that you guys are willing to celebrate Willie as he transitions to his job, his new position, and he's always welcome back, man.
And we want him to be successful. I'm saying this, and this is from the Rattler Nation. And if Coach said we want him to be successful, because then what you do is FAMU. You look at yourself and say, okay, you know what? Can we become a la Arkansas State or a Troy or a Cincinnati, where we can get the hot coach to come in, coach 3 or 4 years, and then they move up? I'll take that, because if they're bringing championships and consistency, then that's not, because that's a different part of how the game is played. I'm not going to say that about my players, because there's a difference about continuity with players. But with coaches, because of the level we are, if we got a good coach, he's going to move up. So my thing is, then let's put the infrastructure in place where every hot coach knows if that FAMU job comes up, I want to have that job. I want that job.
Yeah.
See, that's where.
No, I was just letting you know that we got some callers, and let's start it. Let's start it off. Caller with the last 4 of 5240. You're live on the HBCU Coach's Corner with Coach Cole.
I'm back the truck up.
Oh, okay.
I can't talk on the phone while I'm bagging up. I'm bagging the truck.
Oh, yeah.
Come back to me.
Be safe, man. All right.
He said he's bagging the truck up.
Got the truck driver, boy. They got to make sure it's right. Tell that doc up.
Hey, 3363. You're live on HBCU Coach's Corner with Coach Cole.
Hello, gentlemen. How y'all doing today?
We good, man. We good. Who am I speaking with?
You are speaking with JB, a.k.a. Carlton Gumbo, causing an off-skip.
Okay.
I love this topic that you got going on. Yeah, but JB speaking tonight, man. Mr. Gumbo's still on vacation. Okay, before I go any further with this, I want to give FAMU some props for doing this, man. And I say this, of course, I was talking to Mr. Campbell an awful lot about the same topic. What I saw from FAMU last week was the first time an HBCU on the FCS level treat athletics through a business purview and not through a social consciousness, like social experiment. One. What we saw a coach who was popular, a coach who was delivering, a coach who was winning at his level, and of course, like as y'all said, if a coach is successful, he's going to get callers. And this is on the FCS level. This is on mid-level, FBS level. This is all levels of college football, basketball, except if you're winning anything, people are going to look at you. I'm sorry, I got a lot of blowback. Okay, but I'm going to have to say this too, and this is something about us that we're going to have to look in the mirror about as well. The reason I think why a lot of us are kind of upset about this is because there seems to be a mentality that says our coaches can't leave. Our coaches can't go anywhere because they're HBCU coaches, they're our coaches. All FCS programs are stepping stone jobs. I think the one thing that we need to start accepting is the fact that, hey, you know what? This is what college athletics is about today. This is what it's about. This is about, no matter how much money you get, a coach is going to leave. If he has ambitions to go to the next level, that is what a coach does. You got to have the next one in the pocket ready to say, okay, you know what? If someone's going to go, we got 2 or 3 people on speed dial. Say, you know, let's bring the next person in, next man up, next man up, next man up. But we sometimes do is say, okay, well, oh my goodness, as soon as we do something, the white man is going to jump right in. For those folks who may not be paying attention, of course, you guys know this stuff too. Another coach from NDSU won 2 NCAA championships. He's a linebackers coach at USC. His previous predecessor won 3 chips at Kent State as a head coach. You have a coach who actually just balled out of James Madison. He's now at Indiana. They just moved up to FBS, and he went up to another paying job. My point is that the coaches are always going to be looking for their next hustle. They're always looking for the next job, next lined up. And for we to think that sometimes, okay, well, HBCU guys just stay because they're HBCUs, I don't think that those days don't exist anymore. And I think that we have to start looking at things as a business. This is a business that we're in now. This is no longer a cultural experience, folks. This is a business, and our practices have to reflect as much. And also, a damn good idea about the AD training and stuff, too. But once again, are we hiring people because they are competent in what they do, fundraising and everything else? And by the way, I would also suggest we should look at what other FCS programs are doing in terms of fundraising, infrastructure, everything else. And not really focus on P5. No one is P5 infrastructure. Let's see what our peers in our own weight class are doing and see if we could get some of their best practices and see what they do.
Yeah, let me jump in there. And you know, you are correct, you know, about athletics is a business, and that's the way we got to treat it. We can't get into emotional that, oh, I want Simmons to stay here. You know what I mean? And here's you got to look at the big picture. The more head coaches or the more HBCU coaches jump from the HBCU SWAC to PWIs, the more opportunities it open up for us of saying, yeah, they do have some great coaches because they recruit our players, Bishop. Rocky, they recruit, you know, our players are actually jumping into the portals in the SWAC and going to major schools. And that's what it's all about. The math, the more the mass that we get and start getting on the next level, the more it opens up to the SWAC coaches and stuff and players getting on the next level.
Well, you mentioned something.
All get on the same playing field.
He mentioned this. And I want to say this, right? Because there's all FCS jobs are stepping stone jobs, right? I will agree, right? We have agreed. But I think there's a particular situation where a HBCU job isn't the same stepping stone, doesn't give a coach the same step up that other FCS jobs give. Really, because at the end of the day, I want to say the coach at Washington was an FCS coach before he went to Indiana, if I'm not mistaken, right?
You said really that an HBCU coach
what is that?
Jump from a head coach to another head coach.
The coach at Washington, before he was at Indiana, he wasn't an FCS coach?
He was at Elon first, then he was at James Madison. James Madison moved up from FCS to FBS.
Oh, okay,
and now he's at Indiana.
So isn't that just my point?
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. And I say that because those other types of FCS coaches as well, those other FCS coaches and whatnot, for the most part, they're also winning NCAA championships too. Now, there's also another example that.
So what I'm saying, what I'm pointing is there's a different trajectory for an HBCU head coach. He cannot go from a head coaching position at an HBCU to a head coaching position at a Power 5 or Group of 5 school. That's not the trajectory. That's not true.
It's only 2 coaches that have done that, or 3 coaches that have done that.
That's not true. Okay, I can name off the top of my head 5 coaches that went from FCS to Power 5 or Group of 5 jobs. Just in the last year or two. The guy at Kansas did that. You know, he did it.
Where's he from?
North Dakota State.
Where was he from? No. That's Kansas State. Kansas State, North Dakota State. But that's all Rocky. During his time also, he also had FBS wins. He also had 3 NCAA championships. That's kind of a different kind of a qualification we're talking about. I mean, one guy's winning HBCU championship, SWAC championship. Another guy has 3 FCS titles.
My only point was the trajectory is different. He didn't have to take a position coach job in order to get an opportunity to become a head coach. That's what my point is. Jim Tressel went from Youngstown State to Ohio State. You know what I mean? There are
championships.
Okay, my point is the HB 20 of the top jobs don't qualify to play in the playoffs if they are championship caliber teams in their conference. They don't qualify because they have to play either in the Celebration Bowl or in the SWAC championship and then the Celebration Bowl. So they don't qualify for it.
And there are drawbacks to doing that.
Yeah. So
there are drawbacks to doing that, though. I mean,
that has nothing to do. That doesn't have anything.
Comes with that, though.
So let me ask you this: do you think?
Sure.
Let's be perfectly honest. If Willie Simmons, right, had the same resume at a FCS school, would he have to go to be a running back coach to get a head coaching job?
If he had 3 NCAA championships under his resume, he's going to get a head coaching job.
That's
not what I asked. I said the same resume. The same resume.
That is the same resume.
No.
Chris Cleveland had 3 NCAA championships. That is his resume. Which resume? Name the coach. Name the coach, because we're talking about Celebration Bowl or talking about NCAA championships. Which one? Those 2 different things.
Okay. Do you know who this coach at Texas State is?
G.J. Kinney. Yes, I do know of him.
Yes. So how many
my next example.
How many championships he has before he became an FBS coach?
Rocky, he was only there for 1 season, and no. I'm talking
about before
Rocky,
he got the job.
Rocky, hear me out. I believe he was a coordinator job, but then he took that 1 job at Incarnate Word. He was there for 1 season. During that 1 season in Incarnate Word, his offense led the nation in all Division I, FCS, and FBS.
You can add any qualifications.
No.
You can add all of JB. You can add any qualifications you want to on it. The fact of the matter, like Coach Cole said earlier, and we're gonna move on, is that there are only 3 coaches that ever went from HBCU Division I football to an FBS coach, and that was tell him again, Coach.
It was Deion Sanders, Willie Jeffries, and Jay Hobson.
All right. Hey, thank you for calling in, JB, man. We're gonna go to our next.
Talking about present coaches, you got talking about Melvin Spears won a national championship. Doug Williams won 2 national championships. L.C. Cole won 2. Pete Richardson won 2 or 3 national championships. Rod Broadway won Black College national championships. Now Trey Oliver won national championships, and none of them get opportunities to get a job at another college up on the mid-level, on
FBS school, Group of 5 school. Yeah. So caller 4620, you're live on HBCU Coach's Corner with Coach Cole. What's your name and where you calling from?
Well, they call me Wake. I talk to Scotty a lot.
Okay.
Mr. Cat, my chat with him in the chat every once in a while. So I'm gonna wake y'all up.
Hey, you need to subscribe to us too, man. You with Scotty. But go ahead.
Subscribe.
All right.
So here's the deal. My background is in sports marketing and sports management. I've seen levels. I worked with the certain classics in Memphis. I'm gonna skip the name.
Southern Heritage.
I'm gonna give a research. Yeah. It was some situation going on there, but let me give y'all some resources. So y'all talked about ADs coming up. There's an organization, the National Society of Black Sports Professionals. You can go to blacksportsprofessionals.com. This is a network that brings in young people, black adult black professionals coming up. I know a lot of people coming in being associate ADs, assistant directors of operations. I have a relative that's an operation at Vanderbilt, assistant director of operations. I got another guy I know down in Tulane. He's working with Gaucher. When it comes to some of these coaching moves, it takes more than just knowing other coaches. This coach, that coach, this coach, that coach. You have to start connecting with up-and-coming people that are associate directors at other schools. You got to extend your network. Most people say, oh, this ain't out here, this ain't out there. Yes, it is. You have to look for it. You got to know how to network. It takes more than just coach to coach. So blacksportsprofessionals.com. Look them up. If anybody trying to come up in the game, go there. if you go to some of these smaller schools like the MAC or Sunbelt, there's a lot of young black people in those fields that are coming up. Connect with these people. Bring them into the HBCU land. Now, when I'm coming from marketing, I'm a marketing guy. Now there's a phrase that I grew up, I always heard that it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Now, when I bring that to the table, I'm looking at marketing. Rocky, you said this a million times. A lot of people say certain things so many times that they believe that it's true, believe that it's not possible. Stop saying that it's a defeatist attitude. There's a coach in the HBCU land will not make it to the FBS. You keep saying that. It's possible. The one machine that had Deion make that jump from JSU to Colorado was marketing. There is no infrastructure in sports marketing in these HBCU schools.
So his Hall of Fame career, his Hall of Fame career, his 20 years in network broadcasting, that didn't have nothing to do with it.
If that was the case, he would have been in Colorado or somewhere a long time ago.
I mean,
a long time ago.
As far as I know, he didn't.
He made enough noise. When Colorado saw that impact of all the impact they bring under Jackson State, all the money he was bringing in, hey, if he can do that for them, he can do that for us, and we give him the resources, he's gonna do it bigger. It was all about the marketing machine. The marketing aspect in HBCU land is not there. Now, I played at Jackson State way back in the day. Not too many things have changed. You gotta, in order to get in this game to make those things happen, if you learn the rules, if you get in sports marketing, you expand your network, this whole thing of, coaches from HBCU can't jump the FBS, it will happen if you got the right marketing. If you got the right marketing, you will have the money.
Now,
you got to learn those things that the boys inside do.
Yeah, when you say the right marketing, are you saying the university or are you saying the individual? Because
I'm saying
$150,000 for a head coach or $200,000, you don't have a lot of money to start spending marketing on yourself.
Well, I can't talk to you about the influence of marketing on Deion getting the Colorado job. I would say the fact that he went to the Celebration Bowl twice, right, and him winning had more to do with him getting that opportunity than anything that his marketing team was able to do.
But he got national attention, Rocky.
Yeah.
Drawing down the #1 recruit in the country.
Yeah.
That brought him it was already, he was out there. I mean, you talk about Deion Sanders. You put him in the same category as Muhammad Ali, Jesse Owens. You talking about apples and oranges, but I understand what my man said. We got to keep sawing away, and we're not saying that it can't ever happen, my guy. We can't say that it ain't. But right now,
I know what you're saying, but we got to stop saying. We got to stop saying.
But here's my issue with what you're saying, Wake. You say if we stop saying it, does that make it go away? Some would say hold up. Some would say as a black man, the only reason why we take benefit of some of the rights and privileges we have now is because people were willing to speak out over and over and over and over and over again. And that is the power of the people. Is using our voice to point out.
Sure about too, Coach. Me and Rocky, you talked to the CEO of the HBTV Go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about why is it not any black coaches, analysts? Why not any guys that have came out of the SWAC or the MEAC on the sideline talking about games? We got people from the outside come in and analyze our games. How do we grow? How can HBCU grow to get us out there? Like you was talking about marketing. How do we do it when we don't honor and respect ourselves? We don't honor and respect the work that some of these coaches have done. You mean to tell me, Marky, that I can't be on the sideline or I can't be up in the booth and talking about a football game? Because I seen a whole bunch of bad coaching going on this weekend in the Power 5.
Coach, let me piggyback on this. Let me tell you what, and this goes back about infrastructure, but I'm going to name 3 organizations that do exactly what you're saying. The NFL, with the NFL Network.
Yeah.
You come in as a boot camp. When you retire, you want to get on there, they have a boot camp for you. And then you start. And then they say, you know what? We'll put you out. And then they go to the teams. You know how the teams have the local shows and things like that? Because they go to the NFL boot camp. The NBA does it better than anybody. And then you know who also does it, to Coach Cole's point, which again is the SEC. Because when those coaches get fired, you know what the SEC says? Mullen, I tell you what, this is what you do. Come on in here. We're going to put you on the SEC network. We're going to have you. And ESPN, since we have a contract with you, we want Mullen to cover our games and speak to it. So the infrastructure from the conferences or the organizations. So to Coach Cole's point, what should be happening is our commissioner from the SWAC should be saying, hey, listen, we got Coach Cole out here that's a SWAC legend. We got this coach out here that's a SWAC. I would rather for you guys to have Coach Cole on the sideline, and the money is the money, because you got to understand what it is, but he's going to bring a certain gravitas, and then that's how the pipeline starts. That's what I'm talking about. And you see that with the NFL, the NBA, and the SEC. And that is 100% fact.
HBCU fans want to see a comedy, want to see an LC coach. What are they doing? A Willie Totten, you know what I mean? A James, a Melvin Spears, a Doug Williams on the sideline doing reporting. We don't have that. Now, they have done a great job for women. They have done a great job for women on reporting. Shoot, sometimes you sitting up there with 3 women and 1 guy that ain't never put a helmet on. And I cheer for it. Don't get me wrong, but damn, that's what we about on this show, is about promoting us. You know, and I get it. Can we go into another caller, Coach?
Hey, Roger, can I give you one example? Can I give you one example?
Go ahead.
Of what I'm talking about.
Go ahead. Real quick. Be brief.
So I live in near Canton, Ohio, where they got the Black Football College Hall of Fame mixed in with the NFL. I helped out with that. I helped with a documentary out in there. I told Scotty this. I told a whole bunch of people this. Here's an example, going back to FAMU and alumni, whatever, this infrastructure thing. Where here's an area where a lot of people hit me up saying I'm being ignorant, this and that, just because they don't believe it, they don't see it, they think it's true. Here's where a lot of money is missed out at HBCU. And if you've ever been to an NBA game or an NFL game, you will see this. With that Florida Classic, I asked Scotty, I said, hey, is there a program book for that? He had a show, I talked about a program book, a print program book. Print program books will make you, I would say on HBCU level, about $2 or $3 million for the year. Even one game. They say, oh, ain't nobody going to do a print. They ain't nobody doing print. I can show you today. I have the Indiana football book and the Indiana Suns in the Big Ten. I have the book. That book made them $7 million last season. $7 million. We don't even do that. It's those little things that we ignore, that we say that it don't exist, but you say we need to follow what the big boys are doing, but our ignorance and ego and lack of knowledge prevent us from tapping into that. We miss out on a ton of money. So if you had a program book at FAMU, that thing with a whole season thing, they've been $3 or $4 million. They could have went to the coaching, the athletic department, assistant coaches, and spread out.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for calling in, sir. I appreciate it.
We've had Rocky. The bishop made some subject about what he's talking about. I've talked about what we do. We do miss out on so much money, but we do that like the bishop said. We ain't trained nobody. We giving AD's guys jobs coming straight from a compliance. These guys are not sitting in the third or second seat. We put them in the first seat. And there is a lot of stuff out there. We talked about that, Rocky.
Well, let me just say this, and I know I'm preaching to the choir when I'm talking to you guys. It's hard to put a guy in a position that's responsible for generating money who ain't never made a quarter. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna be honest with you. A guy who's had to make a payroll, a guy who is had to go out and make a sale, a guy who has been responsible for a business or an organization, those guys should be in position for jobs that require making money. Now, I'm not saying, I don't know whether they should be ADs or whatever, but I know a guy, an experienced businessman, and I'm just going to put you on the spot, Mr. Campbell, because we had a 5-hour car ride both way. I mean, a 10-hour car ride, and you were able to tell me some of your experiences as a businessman, and I was thoroughly impressed. But you, on the other hand, could be in a position to help FAMU generate money. I know you already do that as a fundraiser and a contributor, but you can set up a template that can be passed on from one university to the next with all the different things you've done to raise money for FAMU. How many times has institutions reached out to you to assist them with fundraising or generating income?
Well, here's the thing. Let's go back to what the caller said about the networking and things like that. Because yes, and I say this with pride, I helped my class raise $100,000 for FAMU. Now we're trying to raise $500,000. That's our next goal. But when people are on the side of taking this path, that they know they want to be an AD. So he talked about the person in Vanderbilt. See, also the problem too is they stay in those silos. They don't want to come to the HBCU because the money. They want to stay in that Vanderbilt SEC silo. They want to stay in that Big Ten silo. So some of the people that are really talented that we can get, they're like, oh, no, I'm going to stay. And you know what happens too? The white person that is now their mentor, don't go over there, stay over here. So we can't even pull some of our best and brightest over to us to be innovative, to say, you know what, I'm going to give you a FAMU that's a diamond in the rough, that you can turn this into a $20 to $30 million expense. Because if he's over there at Florida State, you know that white guy, well, you really don't want to go over there. You need to stand over here because the opportunities are going to be better over here. So it's a perpetual cycle that we even have to fight with and ourselves and things like that.
Yeah, let me piggyback, man. It's funny that you say that. I was at the Arizona Bowl this weekend, and Toledo and Wyoming played. And my nephew coaches for Toledo. And also Alfred comes from my school, but he's a deputy superintendent. He's a deputy athletic director. And he was talking about he's in the process of working for naming their stadium. Guys, I'm asking y'all, in the MEAC and in the SWAC, how many football stadiums on our campuses that are named, got a name that's named? We only got one, and it might not have, we might have more, but all I know is one. How many of our stadiums in black college football are named by some bank,
you talking about a corporate have a corporate sponsorship deal?
We got one school that's like that I know of. Do you know any of Mr. Boo? What's Florida A&M Stadium named after?
Well, there you go. It's named after our greats, but there is no First Florida Bragg Memorial.
Yeah.
Stadium.
This thing after been dead for 100 years.
Yeah.
Them days, you got to go out and Florida and them average what, Coach? What's your average?
About 20,000 people. Yeah. 20,000 people.
17,000, 20,000 a game.
Yeah.
You can't go out and get 10 million for 10 years from some place to put their name up on the stadium.
Well, see, this go. Well, okay.
But we ain't that smart.
Well, see, this goes. Okay, this keeps going back to my point. It's about when I say the resume about experience. If I'm sitting in the second chair and I'm at a school where naming rights, I've seen it done. Guess what? I'm in the room and I'm getting trained to do it. Then when I come to Florida A&M, I can say, you know what? I did it at Florida State. I was sitting in the room. I know I know who to go talk to. I know how to network with people. I know that you need not only the CEO, but you need the CFO and you need a marketing person all there. Because the CFO and the CEO are the ones that got to say, because this is what I think a lot of people don't understand about sponsorship. As somebody that sponsors, people say, sponsor me. The ROI has to make sense. And if you cannot go to a business and say, give me what you just said, and I'm going to turn $1, then it doesn't do me any good. And if you don't understand it from that very point of a ROI, because I don't want to see nothing about no deck, about, hey, put iWeave on Bragg Stadium. That means I need to know how many wigs I'm going to sell. What are you going to do for me to sell hair?
You're right.
As every girl that comes through the stadium, are you going to give them a card with a QR code so I can pay for that big banner that you want there? See, and that's where the disconnect comes in at. And stuff like that. So when I see this and stuff, and this goes back again about the experience. And see, this is what also happens with our HBCU alums. I got a lot of phone calls. And I'll tell you this. I won't say his name. I have a classmate that was the chief marketing officer at Victoria's Secret. My classmate. He's not there anymore. So you understand, he probably knows marketing, right? He called me and said, Steve, what the hell is going on at FAMU? But see, they don't engage him, and he could have cut a check for $50,000. We have people at all these schools. You don't think Jackson State don't have alumni that work at these places? But again, if we have the disconnect of the alumni that have the experience, that you don't bring them to and say, I'm an AD, and I go to these people. We have the School of Business Industry at FAMU, one of the best business schools. And my AD doesn't go over there and say, can you tell me who your best alums are in marketing and have them sit down with me? So maybe I can do some networking and talk to their companies and corporations and stuff like that. That's the way to disconnect. But I tell you what they will do, and this is where, and I'm speaking about Jackson State. This is why I used to have a problem with Jackson State. I would go to Jackson State and say, hey, let's do this, let's do that. The first thing they said, well, Mr. Campbell, just cut me a check. Cutting the check, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm trying to show you I can make you $1 million.
Right, right.
But see, they stop and start at cutting the check. But you don't make money by cutting the check. You make money by building a program to generate money.
Network, yeah.
That's what you have to do. So instead of you sitting down, when I said to Jackson State, hey, I got a way that I can sit back with all these girls on this campus. I can probably bring you in $200,000 a year. Guaranteed. We put it on the big board. I'm going to sponsor the boom. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put up this amount of money. No, Mr. Campbell, you know what we'd rather for you to do? We'd rather for you to sponsor the alumni for $25,000. Give us a table.
Right, right. Well, Coach Rocky, you know what school got their name named after?
What's that?
It's UAPB. It's named after a bank. I think the bank have to build it.
Well, you know, again, I think there's a lot of opportunities missed in HBCU football as far as generating money. My grandmother used to say this, and I'm gonna mess it up, but I'm gonna try to get it right. You have not because you ask not.
Right, right.
You know,
we got any more callers?
Yeah, we do. We actually do. So, caller, with the last 4157, you're live on the HBCU Coaches Corner. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, how's it going, Rocky?
Good, man.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Monday, February 19th, 2024. Number one, the penalty phase of the Donald Trump business fraud case came to a close Friday. In a 92-page ruling, Judge Arthur Engoron ordered Donald Trump to pay $355 million plus interest, an estimated $100 million. During the trial of the case brought by New York Attorney General Letitia James, Donald Trump was found to have illegally profited from habitually inflating the value of his real estate holdings in order to obtain loans at favorable interest rates. Number two, the trial to disqualify Fulton County, Georgia District Attorney Fani Willis from the election interference case brought against Donald Trump continued with a second day of testimony Friday in the courtroom of Judge Scott McAfee. Trump White House aide and co-defendant Michael Roman filed a motion in January to remove the DA's office from trying the interference case because of an alleged romantic relationship between DA Willis and the special prosecutor she named, Nathan Wade. Wade and Willis both testified they did not start dating until 2022 and that their relationship ended months ago. Number three, Carl Weathers, the multifaceted athlete and actor, succumbed to atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease on February 1st. ASCVD is a form of cardiovascular disease referring to health conditions affecting the heart and blood vessels. According to the American Heart Association, between 2017 and 2020, approximately 59% of black men had some form of cardiovascular disease or CVD. This makes our community the most prevalent regarding CVD mortality rates. Number four, the Moorish Science Temple of America was established in Newark, New Jersey in 1913 by Nobel prophet Drew Ali to uplift the community and recognize greatness. The name Moorish American establishes identity and nationality in America, which was taken away by slave owners, followed by a system of oppression that still exists today. Read more about this religion as our social justice contributor Coy Malone talks about the Moorish Science Temple, founded on the principles of love, peace, truth, freedom, and justice. Number five, angels are spirits created by God to serve his purposes. They They are intelligent, emotional, and spiritual beings with no bodies. They are nowhere near as powerful as God. They do not have limitless knowledge and cannot be everywhere at the same time. But they are smarter than humans and much more powerful than we are. The word angel itself means messenger. Angels also wage spiritual battles against evil forces that walk amongst us every day. They block things you don't even see coming. It's Ministry Monday. Read more about God's angels in today's newsletter. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Love means showing kindness and compassion, even when it's hard. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with our social justice contributor, Coy Malone, as we discuss the more religion and today's top headlines and more. In honor of Black History Month, here's your daily Black History fact. Elijah Paris Lovejoy was born November 9, 1802 in Albion, Maine. In 1827, Mr. Lovejoy relocated to St. Louis, Missouri, establishing a career as a journalist and starting a school. In 1833, he began writing for the St. Louis Observer, a Presbyterian publication in which he shouted down slavery in the pro-slave state. The journalist and abolitionist was murdered by a pro-slavery mob because he would not discontinue railing against the racist practice in his newspaper. That was your little-known Black History fact. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.
My name is Danny Wilson, and I won $500 on the lunch break with A.J. Jones.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.